Welcome back, everybody. So good to be back with you here on the Jason Show. Dale K is here. Everybody give it up for Dale K. It's the perfect time to get out and garden, but if you're just starting out, you're bound to make a few mistakes. I know I probably would make numerous mistakes. It's about working smarter, not harder. Here with us, Dale K, like I said. Dale, great to have you back.
So good to be back. And you know, when you think about gardening and you're getting out and doing some gardening, maybe it's a trial and error thing, right?
Oh, so for sure.
It's okay to make mistakes. You just don't want to make them continually, or as you mentioned, maybe starting out.
Your mic is off, I think, Dale.
Oh, we got to turn that mic on. I don't know.
Listen, I'm going to tell you what Dale is saying. No,
this is the first time I've done TV. this is my first radio.
Okay, yeah.
So you just don't want to make the same mistake over and over.
Right.
So, and it's okay to make mistakes. And these are some of the ones that I see most common. And one that I really want to touch on is AI or shopping online, because there, just like everything else, there are a lot of fakes out there when it comes to shopping for plants online. And there's this blue hosta that's been going on, or you see a blue hosta online that's out there. That's it's just kind of, there is no blue hosta.
Oh,
but
so people are seeing it online. They're like, I'm going to order this. Like this here, we have a picture of it right here.
Yeah, so I saw that on Etsy, and you'll see it on a few different sites. But it's just fake. So my best rule of thumb is to not make those mistakes where you're not buying something that could be true to name, or actually getting good product. Is go to your favorite local garden shop. That's probably the best. Shopping
local would be good anyway, so you could find some native plants and things to put in your garden, I assume, anyway.
Right. Just sometimes if you're shopping for a tree, don't go to like a little flower pop-up that just sells flowers in the spring. Go to someone that sells trees, but somebody reputable in your area is probably the best. The second thing that I see people make the most mistake, and it seems kind of fundamental, but it gets made all the time, is wrong plant in the wrong spot. Now, of course, the one that you see a lot of is sunshade. You know, of course, plants all have different really good labels, and there's a lot of information, a lot of good information on plant labels. And this one's a hosta that got a little bit burnt in the sun. But there's other mistakes that get made too with plants. Think of maybe a tree underneath power lines. You don't think of how tall the tree is going to get. So, you know, you just got to kind of do your research, look at the labels, and then kind of get your plant in the right spot.
Well, also people don't realize how big some plants will get, and they'll get one for an area, and then they're like, oh my gosh, this has tripled in size. I had no idea how big it would get. So you need to look at all those.
Right, and that's one that's coming up here is overcrowding as well. But the one I want to, and it seems simple again, but overwatering is just one of those things that, you know, it's just like this plant's just like drowning in water. But this is because this pot doesn't have any drainage, so sometimes this just sits out on the patio, maybe sits on your windowsill, and you're just continually watering and watering. But this same scenario plays out in the garden as well. Soil doesn't drain quite like you think it will, and plants, there's a lot of things happening underneath the soil where you don't know that you're overwatering until the plant starts to show signs of it. One really quick tip that I have is always plant, when you're planting in the garden, always plant up a little bit, because there's always some natural settling when you're planting in soil. The plant will settle, but that way water will drain off and not pool. So sometimes if you plant just a little bit higher, that's a really good tip.
Okay, and so what are some other gardening mistakes? There's obviously maybe fertilizing at the wrong time.
Well, soil health for sure. Compost is the best thing that you can bang into your garden before planting, and even side dressing your vegetable gardens with compost is absolutely fantastic. But soil health gets ignored. You mentioned fertilizing. A lot of times we fertilize at the wrong time, and also the wrong product. So,
when is the right time, Dale?
So spring generally is the right time. Okay.
So we're late now.
Well, so we're in that mid-season, but what you don't want to do is fertilize towards the fall, particularly in a northern climate, because then you're pushing new growth that tends to freeze. So you don't want to do that. Another one, and we touched on it just before, is overcrowding. Sometimes when you do a little bit of landscaping at home, or you got plants inside, you know, we tend to plant things together, and then we forget, by geez, by jingos, by crikey, plants gosh darn it, plants grow. So then all of a sudden you've got this kind of wild mess of a landscape that's all kind of growing together. So you want to make sure that you kind of kind of have all those things in place of reading the labels and kind of giving some plant space. And then just quick before we go to a break, just mulching is really, really key for gardens. Doesn't matter where you live. It keeps the roots cool, especially if you're in the south, keeps the roots cool, but also most importantly retains moisture.
Okay.
So you're not out there watering it. Water, of course, is a precious resource. You don't want to waste it. So mulch will actually keep in moisture, and over time will keep plants soil healthy as well. And then also overwintering, particularly in a northern climate, that will help insulate the roots getting through winter.
Well, I know that like the mulch is one of the key ingredients for something we're going to come back and talk about, which is weeding. Okay, we have a lot of weeds, so we have to cover that when we come back and how to handle all that growth.
And I'm going to keep my mic on.
Okay, perfect. That's a great idea. That is my.
Let's make it
Welcome back, everybody. Dale K is here with us, giving us his top gardening tips and mistakes as well we're making this summer. And Dale, I'm looking at this one right here. I've never seen this tool before in my life. I'm assuming it's
You've never
for pruning.
seen a pruning tool?
No, I never had to use. I've never needed to use one before in my life. But I'm
careful.
learning. Well, yeah, I guess that was a little. See,
There-
I'm just gonna put it back right where it belongs.
There is a reason why I still have a job. There's a reason probably why I can have a steak
Yes.
maybe once a week,
Yeah.
and that's because of you, Pierre.
Thank goodness.
People,
That's what I'm here
gardeners
for.
like you keep guys like me in business.
I'm happy
true.
to help in any way I can. I really am happy to help. But tell me about this one right here, though.
So pruning is another really common mistake that folks make. There's wrong times to prune, right times to prune. It is plant specific. So you got to do a little bit of research, but a real common mistake that is made is plants that bloom early in the spring. You don't want to prune them late in the fall. You want to prune them right after flowering, because like the rhododendron that you have there, and you can maybe just catch a little glimpse, that's already set its flower buds for next spring. So if you're out there whacking away at the, a lot of people do fall cleanup or end of season cleanup and do their pruning then. So if you're pruning at the wrong time, you're sacrificing next year's blooms. So make sure you do your research on, and rule of thumb, if it's blooming in the spring, prune it right after flowering.
Okay, also planting too deep.
Planting too deep, that's one you see all the time. And I've got a really good example just next to the table here. Right here is a graft union, and it's kind of like a nub where horticulturally we take two plants and we join them together. But that little nub there is often, people think it's unsightly, so they bury it. So that little graft union always has to be above the soil. That's one common mistake. And then also, my rule of thumb is when you're buying a plant in a container, plant it at the same depth. I mentioned up a little bit, but plant it up a little bit. Don't plant it too deep, because plants just get into all sorts of problems that way.
And then my big issue, waiting too long to weed.
Yeah, so weeding is just one of those facts of life of gardening, but don't leave it too late, because the more established they get, the harder they are to pull.
Dale, look at this is my before and after. I just did. So I made a commitment that I was going to do 20 minutes of weeding a day. The left is where I had let it, the point I let it get to, and then I did weed it. But now my entire yard is like this, so it's killing me, Dale. I am slowly dying a long death due to my weeding. I don't know if there's a better solution. One thing I will say that I found is an app that I wanted to share, and it's called Picture This, and I'm showing you how to use it here. Do not spend money on this app. It's gonna pop up and claim you need to pay. You hit cancel in the top right corner. You take a photo of your plant and it scans it, and it'll tell you if it's healthy. It'll tell you if it's a weed or invasive or not. So that's like one thing I've been using. So I'm like, is this a plant or is this a weed? And that's been helpful.
So that is, apps like that. Even I've, used one every now and then. 'Cause I don't know every plant, but a weed is just a little plant that's out of place.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. I got a lot of those.
It's so,
It's a very kind way of saying it, Dale.
So what do I do to get that little plant to stay out of my life?
So just, there's some preventatives that you can do, like there's a product on the market nationally called Preen. That's the one that will actually stop weeds from germinating from seed. Now there are weeds that come up like perennials from the roots, so they're a little bit trickier. So there's all different things. The mulch that I talked about earlier, that will suppress weeds. Manually pulling
Yep,
that's slowly killing you to death. That's actually one of the best ways. I know we talked a little bit about the vinegar and the home brew.
Yeah, like a homemade.
So the home brew solution or vinegar in itself will actually burn. It just burns the roots or scorches, so that way they kind of come back.
Oh.
So manually pulling is often the best.
Okay.
Dale,
All
I got to
right.
tell you, I'm learning so much. I learn so much every time you're on the show.
I love you so much. It's going to be steak
know.
tonight.
Thanks,
Dale,
Dale.
thanks for joining us. For more gardening advice, be sure to follow him on Instagram. Just search Dale K. Garden Guy. We'll be right back, everybody.
Thank you, Dale.
I hope you enjoy the steak, too.
If we all came together and did my weeds together.